You're listening to
Catholic Sprouts,
the daily podcast for Catholic kids that strives to plant seeds of faith. Hey there, Sprouts. Today is Monday, October 18th, 2021. This week, you'll be hearing from a guest host. His name is Anthony D'Ambrosio, and he is here to talk to you about parables, the kingdom of heaven, and what true treasure is. Enjoy.
Hello, friends. This is Anthony D'Ambrosio, and I'm so excited to be here with you today on this podcast. I'm going to be doing a series for the next few days on the parable of the buried treasure, which is one of my favorite parables, and it's a story that has inspired me and one that I wrote a children's book about. And so I'm going to be meditating on that with you this week. So I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to start by reading the scripture, and then I'll talk a little bit about it. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure buried in a field, which a person finds and hides again, and out of joy goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. Okay, so what do I love about this story? Well, when I was a kid, I loved stories about treasure. Treasure Island was one of my favorite books, and it's a story about hunting for a buried treasure. And I think everybody would love to find buried treasure on a hike. I mean, who would not love to just be going on a walk, say in a field or outside in a park or something, and to stumble on and in some way find a buried treasure chest? I mean, that would be so amazing. And I think it's so cool that Jesus uses a story about buried treasure like this to teach us about the kingdom of heaven. So what does Jesus mean when he says the kingdom of heaven is like a buried treasure? Well, I think in a lot of ways he means that the kingdom of heaven is inside of us. And what that means is when we grow up, say, and we belong to a country, say the United States of America, we belong to the kingdom of the United States. And there are laws that we follow, and there are some perks, like we get to go to school for free and things like that. And the U.S. is great, but it has problems. There's a lot of strife and a lot of disagreement and a lot of things that are going wrong in the U.S. Everybody can feel that and has this understanding, this feeling that, man, things could just be so much better. So I think when I was a kid, I always wondered, what if there was a better country, a perfect country, where everyone got along and loved each other perfectly and no one ever fought and everyone had the most amazing things to eat every day, like cake for breakfast? And what if in that perfect country no one cried because it was so happy? What if there was this country where they played and danced and sang songs and feasted on the best food? What if the streets were made of gold? What if the clouds were made of marshmallows? You know, all of that kind of stuff. Wouldn't that kingdom be awesome? Well, that kingdom does exist in a way, and we don't know exactly what it looks like and what things are in it, but that kingdom is heaven. What Jesus is saying is that heaven exists, and it's not just out there, up in the sky, but that when we belong to Jesus and his kingdom is inside of us. That means if we dig deep into our own hearts looking for Jesus, we'll find heaven. We'll find that perfect country, that perfect kingdom that we've always longed for and felt like should be here on earth. And it's so beautiful and it's so amazing. It's worth everything that we have. When we live according to the kingdom of heaven and its laws, we have the power to make our homes and our families and our friendships and our schools more like heaven. But there's a catch. What's the catch? Well, in order to find out, you're going to have to come back and listen again tomorrow to the next episode of this series. I can't wait to get to talk to you more about this awesome parable. I will see you tomorrow.
That's it for Catholic Sprouts today. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, continue to grow in your faith and truly sprout into the beautiful creation that God created you to be. big thank you to Anthony for hosting this week on Catholic Sprouts. And I would like to invite you to check out the new book that Anthony D'Ambrosio wrote and is launching this week. It is called Beakle and the Star Stone. It is a beautiful retelling of this same parable of the buried treasure. It is fun, colorful, great for the whole family. He wrote this book particularly for children ages 5 through 12. It is a beautiful chapter book that our family has already enjoyed, and it has a great, great message that we can all benefit from. To check out this book and be one of the first people to get your hands on it, simply follow the link that we're including in the notes for this podcast episode.
This show is a production of the Spoke Street Media Podcast Network. For more great podcasts, visit spokestreet.com.